Welcome to this week's episode. We're talking about empaths and sensitivities and why you don't want to run away from them. I sound like I kind of smoked, like 20 packs of cigarettes? I didn't. I'm actually severely allergic to smokes. My body's been going through this massive change and shift and upgrade. And, it's kind of interesting when we talk about sensitivities. And I know as a child, I was really allergic to cigarette smoke, like so much that I'll date myself here, but I don't know if you remember the time when airplanes and bars and restaurants, everybody smoked everywhere. I always looked green and sick, or people smoked in a car, I'd like fall out of it. And I just had such an allergy, and I actually never got rid of it. So even if in Canada, where I am, marijuana is legal and people are always on the street with it. And I get severely sick, and people say, why didn't you ever get rid of that allergy? And I said, because actually it's one I don't mind having. So sometimes in life, there are things you don't mind keeping. And I said, I don't want it. And that's a sensitivity I have, that I'm okay with that. I'm okay not being in alignment to liking any kind of that smell. There's other energies that are carried with it that if you understand anything about energies, not so good. Today is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. A few fun facts that people don't know before we get in is we are always live. So yes, if there's hiccups or someone calls in, it's always a live show. And that's what I love about this is we don't have a script. We follow the energy. And some people say, why don't you have like your shows that are planned out for weeks? And I said, because I follow the energy. What is the message? What are we talking about? What is happening in that week? And so that's why we don't have any notes or scripts. We just say, thank you, God. What are we downloading today? And what do you as the listener really need to know? And what is important for you? And that's why I love doing the show this way, because it's really then channeled. So you get the highest vibration. Yeah, listen to that voice. Doesn't it sound good? It sounds very sultry. People are like, what's happening? So I really I'm just caught up. Maggie's with me today too. You might see her head pop up as well to say hello to you. But I want to talk about these sensitivities because right now on the planet, everybody is so sensitive, and you hear that a lot. I was a very sensitive child, as many of you may be aware. If you're not, I was very sick because I was an empath. I didn't know what that was as a child. I would pick up everybody's emotions and I would feel it through my body. And I thought I was just a little bit weird and I just was different. And now we hear it all the time. But what I hear a lot from people is, especially if you're in the awareness community, the spiritual communities, a lot of people are like, I can't go out there because I'm too sensitive. I got to stay in my house because I'm too sensitive. And then they start looking for everything else that they're sensitive to. So they'll say, it's EMFs, and you can go down this whole, rabbit hole of what you're really sensitive to. And really what it is there's energies that carry in your body, and they keep you very much away from the rest of the world. So when people say, I'm so sensitive, I can't go outside, that is not what you're supposed to be doing. So just say, what do I do when I feel other energies? Or I feel good in my home. I get outside and around all these people. I don't feel so good. And it's just because your body is picking up the energy that's coming in. So it's really important to understand, how can you control those energies? How can you become the master of your being, your soul, your spirit, the essence of who you are? I had to learn this. That's why I created Body Regeneration, right? Why do I teach this? Because things on the fly, because I know as a sensitive being, I was that person that wanted to hide out more, or my body would have a massive reaction, right? When I would go into a public place. When I learned to control it, when I learned to really pull these sensitivities and allow them to come through my body and feel them and just embrace them, a lot of my issues went away. Like they really did. So what happens is when you're like, I'm too sensitive and I can't go out, you're actually pushing the energy. So you're not embracing it and letting it flow. You're pushing against it. And when you're pushing against it, you're going to get more of it. sort of like this, I hear this a lot when people have a lot of gifts. They push against them. They're like, I don't want that heavy energy. I don't want that negative energy. And they're talking like that. So you're pushing against it. When you embrace that the body can feel it, when you embrace that the energy is moving, guess what happens? It flows, it opens up, and then it doesn't affect you anymore. And this is a really big teaching, but a lot of people are like, oh, protect, oh, don't go there, oh, I can't do that, I'm so sensitive. You got to stop saying that, because also your words are such power. If you were on our Soul Sunday service this week or online, we had a packed house, and we were talking a little bit about our words and how your words, you have to be so careful. If you want to learn more about this, you want to be at the next Soul Sunday. Trust me, like, it's as we clear that and teach you more about your words. So if you're always saying, I'm so sensitive, I can't go outside, and I'm so this, I can't do this, that energy builds up in your body. And then all of a sudden the sensitivities become stronger. So no different though, but you have choice. So no different than I was just telling you about the smoking. Like, I remember coming back from, I would go to this Pioneer Girl thing. My mom would have me go, and they had like Big Sisters. And I loved to go because I had this lady, she's like Big Sisters. But a lot of times my parents couldn't pick me up or take me home. So I would end up in, going with other families that would take me home. And I remember this one lady, she'd always smoke like a pack of cigarettes, winter, the windows rolled up. So by the time I got to my house, I was slouched over in the corner, green, and I'd roll out wanting to throw up in the snowbank because I was so sick. But that sensitivity, like I said, I chose to keep it. And why did I choose to keep it? Because I said, wow, I don't want to be around this. I don't like how it feels in my body. So if I am sensitive to it, then I don't have to bring it up all the time. I just choose. My body just is like, I can't be around you if you smoke. See you later. It's a choice now. It's not that hindrance, right? But the other sensitivities I had, when I chose to embrace them, and I was in this power position now where I was in charge of my body, I'm like, I can feel that. So similar to, I would, here's another example. I would sit, I remember one time I was doing this infomercial. Yeah. Somebody asked me to do an infomercial. It was for pots and pans for Europe. And so we were trying the food, and that's a whole other world I used to do once in a while. It was funny. And this man who had to sit beside me, he sits down. All of a sudden, my heart starts to race. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I literally was going to have a heart attack. And I leaned over to him. I said, are you okay? Did you have heart problems? Now, I could have got up and moved away and not felt his sensitivities. And he said, yeah, I actually had a heart attack, and I'm still recovering from it. How did you know that? And I said, well, it's okay. I'm like, all right, I just wanted to acknowledge it. And if anything I can do to help you. So we started to have this conversation, and my heart right away just went all the way down. And then it cleared out of my body. And I gave him a gift where he was able to get a blessing and a healing around his heart. So these kind of things, when you notice and you go out and you can pick stuff up. Now, don't always blurt it out to them, but even if you're feeling in your body and you can embrace that sensitivity, oh my gosh, don't reject it anymore, guys. It's this beautiful blessing. So you're like, the people are like, I'm so sensitive. I'm so sensitive. Embrace your sensitivities. It's your body being so aware. It's your body saying, I feel what's happening around me. I embrace what's happening around me. Thank you, God. And be so grateful, because as empaths, we're here to really help each other. We're here to help the planet. We're here to be more connected. And when you push away your sensitivities, you're being disconnected from your environment. And then when you go on so many medicines, you hear me say this a lot, energetically, depression, living in the past, anxiety, you're unsure of the future. But when you push away this and you numb it down and you're not interacting, your body is trying to say, look, I'm here. I'm part of you. Get out of the brain. Feel the spirit, feel the soul, feel the body, and engage with it and bring it all the way through. Your sensitivities are meant to be embraced. They're meant to be honored. They're meant to be really part of you. So you don't have to sit there and cry and get overwhelmed by them. Here's your tip, guys. Start asking your body, Why are we feeling like this? What are you showing me? What's coming to the forefront? And when you start to ask your body this, it'll respond. And the more you talk to it, there's Miggy, the more you talk to it, the more it says, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And sometimes you can just say, give that person what they require. Thank you, God. Give them everything they require and let your body push the energy through. Do the reset tool. Thank you, God, reset, let go. Thank you, God, reset, let go. Thank you, God, reset, let go. That's where those energies come in. You know, I do want to answer a question. I know sometimes we get feedback on the show, and I try to answer as much as I can. So people watching, you'll see Maggie, she's getting ready to pounce on something. Maybe I'll put her down here. She's going to go jumping through over the computer. So we did get some feedback last week, and I want to make sure I answer this question. It's really, really important. And her question was, I'm feeling very frustrated over the last month with my spouse. I have moved into not having kids at home, and we are trying to figure out our new dynamic. He's also going for hip surgery in the next few months, so he's not in a happy place. He's full of pain. I cannot figure out why I'm getting so frustrated helping him, or when I spend time with him, I have a very close relationship. So this is unusual. So what's happening right now in the energetic field, why we're getting more frustrated with our loved ones, and we can start to move this for you. See, Maggie put her down, she came back up, is because the vibrations are changing where people need to really step up into their own choice and their own power. So what I would suggest is with your husband, this is how we can move the energy. And this is how I teach a lot of this in my workshops. If you've been to them, they work very, very well. Is what do you require, honey, from me? And only do what he asks you to require from you. So a lot of times we can be overgiving and we go to that extra mile and we love them and we want to support them and we're finding a new dynamic. We can remove the energies and the imprints too out of the house. So what happens is children, oh, there we clear that. Sometimes a yawn, burp, and gag when we clear. When children leave the house, they have imprints in your home because they've been living there for so long. Everything they touch, every area they've sat in or been in, leaves an imprint, an energetic imprint. So we can start to remove that out of your home and recenter and strengthen you and your husband back to your home without the kids. You have to move that vibration out. So these imprints will still interfere as if they're actually there. So when I start to move that out of the house and we strengthen you and your husband to be very in alignment, thank you, God, to your home without the children, now you have to relearn communication. So we have to relearn to communicate because there's a very different communication that we have verbally and energetically, depending on how many people are in our home. So it's no different than you notice you communicate differently when you have company. You'll communicate differently when your children are there. You've been into this routine. It's like a habit. The body is always looking energetically for that habit, that imprint, because it's been there for so long. So the foundation is changing so we can strengthen that. Thank you, God. And I want to change the habit, and we have to override it and speak in a new awareness. So now with your husband, as he's prepping for surgery and he is in pain, because there's a lot of things that he hasn't still dealt with that are coming out in the body. And the hips of the body, everybody, is about holding stability and flexibility in our life. So anywhere the body starts to give out, especially in our hip area. So we're going to bless him for getting a new part. He wore out his old part, so we're going to align him for a new part. Thank you, God. But it's having to take responsibility to letting go of the accumulation of energy of where there wasn't flexibility in life, or he didn't feel there was flexibility or choice. And I can feel that in my hip. So we can start to move that. But again, the souls have to be willing to accept, thank you, God, and accept what that energy exchange is. So from now on, your space is, honey, I know you're in pain. What do you require from me? Not what do you need from me? Very different vibration. What do you require from me? And that will start to ease off the frustration. But remember, people, we are in a time of mass change, heaven and hell on earth, right? I was talking about this at our Sunday service. And what happens is it separates and it changes. So now it's important, even in your family dynamics, it may have worked for a long time. You're going to have to find, if you want to choose to say, a new way of functioning, a new way of being. You guys are going to be okay. Just ask, what do you require? And let's bring you both up in the field. All right, Zach, I think we're going to take a call. I think we have Mylène on the line. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have Mylène from Toronto.
Is she there?
Live on the Tracy L Clark show.
Hi, Mylène.
Oh, hi, Tracy. How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Well, I'm just trying to manifest a getaway, like 2 weeks in the sun.
Okay. Oh, you'd like to go out of the snow, into the sun. All right.
Yes.
We can start to equate that. Sometimes too, remember, little getaways are always really good for the body. And also what people forget is little getaways can also stimulate everything the body requires. So sometimes they say to people 4 days is also better than no days, right? So let's put that. And I think many people would like that. I know today I woke up to a snowstorm. I think it's kind of still out there in some way. So let's open that up and let's increase that. And what I'll actually ask to impart and move is more flexibility of movement around the planet for you, which allows more choice to come and go as you want, to come and go as you please. So how does that feel? Let's open that. I think you want to go south for sure. Okay. You look like you. Yeah, south. Okay. You don't ask, you don't get, right? Thank you, God. You know that well.
Correct.
Yeah, your energy is very good today. You are in a good space. Look at you go, girl.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. But I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
With today's topic, stop
Yes.
thinking where we take on others' energy so maybe they don't feel so much in pain. If we could start removing that.
Okay, so cut out a bit. So where you don't want to feel their pain as much?
Yeah, because I've had empaths, we take on others' pain. Maybe they
Oh,
don't feel
yeah.
all the
Okay.
suffering.
Yeah, no, so this is part of that flow I was talking about. So a lot of times, so we don't want to, you can feel it in and out. So we want to actually start to redirect the body. So you're ready to go another bit level. You're getting way better. So let's start to increase and strengthen the body's field so you can actually start to come in and out. So we can never say, I never want to feel that. As empaths, we're always going to feel. So I want to really align you, to embrace you, to go, okay, I'm going to feel, I'm going to embrace it. But the thing is not to hold it, right? So that's the part that for some reason your body, let's just remove some generational and some ancestral and ancient sort of rituals around this. So it's actually what it's showing. The statement is, if I just take the pain off you, you're better. And now I'm seeing like, I'm holier than thou now, which is a weird statement to come up. So where that comes from in your other timelines is then it's kind of like that. You know that in old days we would do that, and we've all done it, and it's very martyr kind of energy. And so it sits in. So it's like, now see me, I'm a good person because I took your pain off you. So I got to pull that out of your body if you're okay, because that looks like it's from other lifetimes playing out right now for you. So let's get rid of that. So it's like, look, wasn't I a good girl? Look, I took it off you. You feel better, but I feel like crap. So let's pull that out. And then let's ask the body to be very much in alignment. Okay, I've got to change this through the central nervous system and the heart because it's getting stuck. Alignment to allowing it to come in and leave. Come in and leave. So we have to re-talk to the body a little bit differently. So your little mantra would be, you can come in, you got to go. You can come in, you got to go. You can come in, but you come in me and out, or in me through me, but not staying. So when you feel that, it's like, thank you, God, I'm going to increase, do the reset, and just increase the body's awareness to just let it move through you, not get out, because it's kind of looking, when you say get out, it's like, what? But if you say it can move through me and out of me, right? Through me and out of me, then you're starting to point the energy out. And I would actually, if you're feeling it from your belly button up, remember, through you and out of you is always usually best out of the head. If it's belly button down, through you and out of you is better through your feet. Does that make sense? Okay, so
thank you.
Are you okay? Now I'm just going to reset that. And I'm actually going to pull out of the brain and the mind where it just got into a habit that this is what we do. So you can be seen as and it keeps, the word is good little girl. So basically if anywhere in your body, even as an adult, it needed to have that praise somewhere. It's like, look, I took this from you. I took this from you. So we'll just make sure we get rid of that. Okay. Let's just pull that. How does that feel now?
Oh, it feels complete. It feels great. Thank you.
Yeah. Just remind yourself. So it looks like you need just a few reminders. A few reminders. How's your overthinking feeling?
That's a whole other day.
Yeah, that's another day. It's getting a lot better. So those are those enemy spirits. Those are those energies that are just, they're so used to being there. And remember, guys, when we get into overthinking, those are not your friends. Those are energies that actually get stuck in the body that want to stay in the body. And people say, how can that be true? That's not true. And I know it well because I've gone through that whole process myself, right? So they're starting to lose hold. So the more you start to even speak to them and reset and use the physiology of the body, then you can see they're going to lessen very quickly how much control they have over you. So I want to actually speed that up. And it's like, out of my head, into my heart, out of my head, into my heart, out of my head, into my heart, and do the reset tool. So that's the other saying, that the more you say it, your brain goes, oh, and those energies start to get less and less and less. And that ancestral pattern starts to come off. And then you'll start to see it's more in the heart. And then that feeling, this is why you want to feel, will become stronger, but in a good way.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome. Let
So
me know
love
how
you.
you're doing, okay? I love you. You're
Yes.
so sweet.
Take care, Tracy. Talk soon.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye. Lots of love.
I know we're going to have to go to break soon, and then we're going to come back with Magdalena. This is that place where, again, really embrace your sensitivities and embrace what you have. And a lot of people, they ask me, what more can I do about that? Or how can I communicate with the body? And people look a lot of times, and I see this and I try to express this. They're like, Tracy, you live this beautiful life. How did you create this? And you got to remember, it was 17 years I've been on this path. But every day making myself that priority of what can I do that's different? How can I keep moving and shifting? And like, I'm going through this other big bump right now. I do a lot of bumping myself and clearing for the community, for you guys, so we can keep going. I never stop growing. That's my commitment to all of you, so we can keep learning and growing together. And so it didn't happen overnight. So when you guys call in and I feel your frustration, or you're like, I'm ready to get rid of this, this is the best awareness I love, because your sensitivities become less sensitive and they become in one with you, where all of a sudden you work with them and they become this gift. They become your superpower, where all of a sudden more gifts open. So as many of you know, I was a big feeler, and then I would see, and then I would hear things, and I was like, what is going on? So I shut down the scene as a very young girl after I had a lot of trauma with the kidnapping. And I was seeing too many dark things, and I thought I was crazy. So there's this whole world that we don't talk about, but start with your feeling. Most people feel, 99% of people, 0.9 feel, like the whole population. We're all intuitive. And that intuition grows the more connected you get to the God consciousness, the God of your understanding. And as I anchored in more of that connection and really started to listen more to what I was feeling and what that hand of God was telling me, a lot of this just came into alignment. It's what I love to teach with you all the time. And it's what I love to share, because these are your gifts. These are your superpowers. And so often we reject our gifts. We reject our superpowers. And I'm a huge sci-fi nut. I love, everybody knows I love Star Wars. I love Yoda, since I was a little kid. And I always wanted to be like Yoda. And it's kind of funny, we sort of make jokes about it in our community, because I saw him when I was a little baby, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was 7 when those shows came out. But this is your superpower. And if you look at all these people that you see in these shows, what do? They reject it. They reject their superpower. So I want to thank that hand, God, that you stop rejecting. These are your gifts. And because they're not taught in mainstream still, and people don't understand them. It doesn't mean you don't have a gift. It doesn't mean you don't have a superpower. It doesn't mean you don't belong. You belong. And that's why I created the TLC community, to make sure you belong and you always realize that these are incredible gifts. And every one of us should be shining in our gifts, and those sensitivities are part of them. You know, I was asked to explain a little bit, and I put it on our Facebook group, but I'm going to just do it before we go to break. Why did I create the Miraculous Community, the Academy? Because I had seen so much of these places in service and ministry where we are giving our money, but you're expecting a prayer, you're not getting anything back, and it didn't sit right with me. And we have a huge initiative outreach fund helping others. I created the Academy for people like you that are like, where can I give my money? Where can I tithe and get back? That's why I give to you every day, 5 days a week, and gift sections and prayers and blessings. If you want to stay committed and really know that where you're giving, you're getting something back in return. It's not just going to the abyss. Like, I'm seeing these churches amassing $100 billion and their people are starving. It's not right. It's not right. So what we do is we've been creating a community so your superpowers can be shown. You can be really uplifted and supported every day, because in this world of sensitivities, you should never feel left behind. You should always feel someone has your back. And our community has been created that way. Embrace your sensitivities. Come and check out the Miraculous Academy, because I'm going to tell you, people come and they love it because they're seen every day and their superpowers are coming out. And I want your superpowers. And when you give and you tithe, you must get something back. Not just a prayer, not just a hope. You must get something back. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. Check us out, tracylclark.com. And we'll be back right after the break with Magdalena. Welcome back. You know what? I always like Zach's always got some fun music for us. We always want to give a shout out to our producers. You know, people forget on live shows, they work their butts off behind there. So we always like to say thank you to the people that make it possible that you can listen to us each and every week. You know, I got a note here that the comment was, I want to know what everyone's superpower is. And the key is find out yours first. You know, you might have a superpower. So for example, we have this incredible woman that heads up our initiative fund, and we've been changing it and structuring it to help people in need, to help people in other areas. You're going to see a lot of it coming out on the community page this year. building, structuring. Her superpower is she is amazing when it comes to finances and helping people personally in their business. That is her superpower, helping people see what they never saw before. That's why she's heading it up, right? I don't want to be over there. So you hire somebody that's really good at it. Or we have, like I said, my superpower is being able to see, feel, but also the way that hand of God works through me, my hands, when people come to events or you go to Soul Sunday and I'm touching you and moving you, and they're like, oh my God, that left, and I'm healthy, and this is better, and what's happening. So, our superpowers are always growing constantly, and they're changing, and you get more of them. Some people's superpowers is they can talk. Like, I love to chat because my voice changes. That's one of my other superpowers. And I didn't know it until a couple of years ago that it started what I say and how I communicate to the body. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. It was really pointed out. My words can change things in your body. So, but then if you're my boyfriend, he's like, you talk all day and you can still have lots to say because I get so excited about what God's doing in that, God of my understanding and your understanding in your world and my world. And when we share that joy, then that gets contagious, right? We don't want these viruses that are out there. We want to be contagious in the glory realm and the supernatural things that are happening and the blessings and all of the fun. And those are our superpowers. So you have them. Ask, what is my superpower? I know the person that asked this question that put in, I know your superpower is your kindness and your help for others and seeing what other people require and giving. Like, we see people that in our community, they give like you've never seen before. Like, that's their superpower, seeing what people require and stepping up and not being afraid to step up. So it's not necessarily just a healing gift as people think in the energy world. Your superpower, you have it. You have one. So I just want to thank God, tune in. What is it for you? I had a beautiful young man at Soul Sundays, and he had eczema, and he would get around people. He's like, I got eczema, just a young guy. And I love it when the kids come out. He's so cute, and his family's so loving. And he says, I have eczema. And I said, you get very irritated around people, don't you? And he said, yes. He was very shy. And I said, you feel everybody, don't you? He goes, yeah, and I don't know how to deal with it. So I said, and so his way of dealing with it is not saying anything and closing off. And his mom says he doesn't want to talk about it. And then all of a sudden I said, but that's your superpowers, that you feel. And I know what that's like. So he was so irritated. He was creating eczema on his skin. I said, but what if you had your superpower and you could go out there and, you can get rid of them and what it's feeling, not take it into the body. That sensitivity, like we were saying before, is a superpower. He knows. And I said, you can see very clearly when someone's not being truthful with you, can't you? And he said, yes. And I don't know what to do with it. I said, you can also tell when somebody's maybe not doing something that's good. And he's like, yes. And it scares me and I don't know what to do with it. This is his superpower. And he's so amazing. So what is yours? Dig deep, dig deep. Your sensitivities are your superpower, and you have them in every way. Embrace it. I have little cuffs people made me. You might have seen them on some of my events. That is my space. So one of the people on our team, she says her superpower is she pretends she wears Wonder Woman cuffs and, blocks all that energy out, but she has fun with it. The more you have fun with it, the more you have fun with the energies, the more you're going to get restoration and healing and really be in that beautiful God glory energy of your understanding and mind of love and kindness. All right. Now got onto that little space. Zach, do we have Magdalena on the phone?
Yep, Magdalena from Waterloo. You are live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Tracy.
There you are.
Oh, shoot, I can barely hear you now.
That's okay. We can hear you. What's your question? You got a little
Okay,
Freddie
great.
there, I think.
Yes, I do.
If anybody's listening and you are on and you're on my website for Soul Sundays or on our Facebook, Freddie is a TLC community baby. He is full of light and love like his mother. And you will see a beautiful picture with him and his father. And he's just an angel. So we were going to give him more blessings. And he was at Soul Sundays this week. So I'm giving you a shout out to your amazing family and your amazing gift that you are to the world. And as a mom, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Tracy.
Well, it's true because you are.
So today, my question is about actually how I feel. So as you know, I'm a recovering empath.
Yeah.
And basically, my question to you is like, basically, I feel kind of like I'm disconnected from my way of feeling now. I've shut down how much I feel with people to the point where I feel like I'm not able to feel my own feelings very much. And I was wondering if you could give me some insight on that.
So when you're around other people, so you've been shutting it down more because the energy's been going more into the family. Hang on a second. There's still a resistance to fully. Okay, what's your biggest fear? I'm going to ask this because I can see it, so I want to make sure you bring this up. You know the two emotions, fear and love. What's your biggest fear if you actually allow your body to fully feel as an empath?
That my body will be just riddled with pain.
Yeah. That's also coming from other lifetimes where you've had that interference energy that's playing out in this lifetime. So I'm going to start to remove that through because there's an experience, and you can see that that's pretty much birth on, that we can start to pull out that to feel means pain. And I mean to feel means pain, like in all forms of feeling. Do you understand that?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, okay. So let's start to remove all the manipulation energy, because that is dark energy. That is energy that is working to hold you back. So, when you hear me talk a lot about how, that enemy spirit, that darker energy kept trying to take me out through pain, through suffering, through all that space. And because the brightest and the lightest souls usually experience a lot of different pains, right? And especially in our body, our emotional body, our physical body. So your physical body, because it feels, what if that was actually, if I start to change this and I start to override and speak in, that feeling is such a gift, and it doesn't have to be pain. It can come in and out. And I start to impart and speak that to your body. Okay, your stomach's rolling. Your body starts to push me back. Like it doesn't want to fully receive that.
Often.
Yeah, there's also another component to this, that if we adjust this totally and you fully accept it, what are you responsible for and not responsible for? Can you feel that?
Responsible for how I process the emotions, for sure.
Yeah, and so the body is afraid that if it fully says, okay, I get to choose what I take and don't take, I don't have to be in pain. Does that mean now I'm going to be responsible for everybody I come into contact with? Can you feel that? It feels kind of heavy and yucky.
Yeah, it's funny though, because I feel like I've been pretty good about releasing it. It's just what I'm noticing is that I'm not letting myself feel.
Exactly. And this is why, right? Because that's what the body is coming back saying, then I'm responsible for all of this. So what I want to do is I'm going to separate. So we're going to align and strengthen you to yourself, you to your immediate family, so your husband and your son, but then all your combinations, and you to everybody outside. So the outside world, the external environment. Oh, sorry, there we go. And the internal environment. Thank you, God. So the body can be strong to feeling and feel all the emotions. And even when I open that up, I'm getting, there's another pushback there. Again, there's a fear of fully feeling self. Hang on. Were you at one point told that feeling like if you had feelings, so like great sadness or grief or feeling those feelings of depression or anger, that meant something was wrong with you in your timeline?
I'm not sure if I was told that, but I certainly told myself that a lot, because I was told not to feel that. It was too emotional, too sensitive. So
yeah, because there is a tape. It looks like the reason I ask, it looks like those the way they show. Remember cassette tapes? In the old days, cassette tapes.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. It's showing like a cassette tape, and it's reeling over and over and over and over. So that means it is an imprint. So remember the words we tell ourselves, right? You know that well. They become these imprints. So let's pull all of that down. Thank you, God. I'm going to remove again manipulation energy with the accumulation. I'm just going to ground you into the earth a little bit differently, all the way where that manipulation energy has been eating you up. Let's pull this all the way out. There we go. And also too, there's another space of this that comes up. This is you're ready to actually let a lot of this go for good, like not even think about it anymore. Is that if you feel and the
Absolutely.
emotion isn't joy or happiness, then you take that on in your brain that it's a weakness. So let me pull that out,
wow.
because it's not a weakness to feel those. It's great to have a good cry. It's great to get mad sometimes. It's great. It's how we get it out of the body. But your body, because of the way you locked it up, says if I feel the negative emotions, I'm seen as weak. So let me get rid of that, because that fits really heavy in your solar plexus. I also have to do some repair on your immune system from actually birth. Your immune system's reading weak. So hang on a second. Which means we want to clean up that into the stomach area. So let's just strengthen that a little bit more. So let's shake your adrenals and your kidneys back to your liver and give them that life force energy that's required. And out of your brain, it's the left side. So a lot of this is coming from areas growing up that's ready to let go around self-judgment, blame, insecurities throughout your timeline. So this is another layer of your onion, but your onion looks like it's almost completely gone. So this is really good. I will tell you, your superpowers, you really need to embrace them now. There is no more hiding for you. And that's why the enemy spirit is wanting to spend more time trying to think and convince you there's more there than there is. Because when you really step out fully, a lot changes, and that seems to be a little bit scary in your field. So I'm going to just put some, as I had to put some safety around this a little bit for you, that it's safe to change and it's safe to embrace. Like, one of the things, I'm going to scold you on air here. One of the things about you that you don't fully embrace is how much love you give to the world, how much compassion you have for people. And your love and your compassion is one of your superpowers. And that needs to be shared with the world.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate that.
I need you to really feel that and embrace it. And I want to thank that hand of God of really pushing that in your heart. Because, I'm very careful, as you know, my words, but I can't say this to a lot of people. You only see the good in people. And I'm the same way. We're kind of weird that way. And people say to me, why do you let people hang around that we would just get rid of? Or why do you hold on to people a little bit longer? Or I said, because when you can see the soul of a person, you always see they're all good. They've just had bad experiences. And you have that as a gift. And that's why you love and have so much compassion. So I don't want you to look at that as a detriment. I want to open that feeling in your heart more. That's like, wow, I can help them through my love and my compassion, and no more hiding from the world. How does that feel?
Okay, thank you so much.
It's true. I need you to really embrace. You ready to embrace that and go a little bit higher?
I am so ready.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so proud of you. And I know sometimes when we're new moms, we can feel more isolated as well. Be gentle with yourself. You have a brand new baby. Like, it's not like he's 10 and out there running around, right? So a lot of times too, and I'll adjust this for you, when we're moms, we can feel a little bit more isolated because our babies require all of our time and our attention 24/7. So be gentle and understand that the feeling center is going to open up more, and there is a bigger role coming towards you, and that's okay. But right now,
thank you so much. I'm
little
so
Freddie,
ready.
yeah, it's there. Don't be hard on yourself. Little Freddie needs mommy right now. And look at him. He's like the most angelic kid on the planet. Like, people, like, you see that. Like, everybody's like, I think if people had their choice at Soul Sunday, they would have been passing Freddie around to the 100 people that were there because he's such an angelic presence. And that's because of you and your husband and this beauty that you've created in your family. Yeah. See how
Thank you
amazing you are?
again. Tracy, it's such a blessing. Thank you so much.
I love you. Go feel better. All right.
Thank you.
Lots of love. You know what? This is so true. So often we just forget about those things and how our real heart centeredness comes to play. And this is what I love about our community. And sometimes people are like, wow, when people call in, and because they're in the community and I get to know the people in our community. And it doesn't matter how many people we have in the community. You take 2 minutes to get to know somebody, you start to see their superpowers. And one of my goals and dreams is to make sure every one of you listening and new people listening, you start to understand your gifts. We can have so much knowledge. Like I bring guests on every once in a while, but there's so many places where you can just listen to people talk. The reason I've done the show the way I have is I want to shift you. I want you to understand how amazing you really are and how you contribute. Because if we were taught that as children and our sensitivities and the gift that is as kids, at how amazing we are, we wouldn't have so much chaos. If we were taught how to love more and have more compassion, we wouldn't have the wars that we have. We wouldn't have the greed that we have. We wouldn't have the fear that's been leading this planet. Fear is driven by the enemy spirit. There's love and there's fear. And fear has been leading for too long. And love is finally overtaking that energy. And you must see and believe it. And even though you're going through a hard time, I get it. I understand. We can get it and it can move. Thank you, God. So we have one more caller we can take quickly before we wrap up top of the hour. So Marlena, is that who we have? Is that on the line? Hi, Marlena. You're on. So happy to have you here. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 I love Montana. Mm-hmm. I know exactly where you're going. I used to live up in Canada, right above Montana, so I know exactly where you're going. Yeah. 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 So what we can start to do for you is so when you move from a bigger place like Washington, then you're coming into a smaller town. Oh, it chills. You're very because you're really into one. Kudos for you for listening. So proud of you. So what's happening here is you have to understand the body creates an imprint from where we are. I'm going to probably burp as I clean this out. So just hold on. I can feel it starting to just wants to rip off you. I love you. You're pretty tenacious. I like that. You're like, get rid of it. Okay. So there's an imprint that comes in when we live in a city, a larger city. The body gets into a rhythm. So what you feel when you go to a smaller town, you have to unplug from the place you are. So I can start to lift you from there. So when you're going from a bigger place to a smaller place, any location change, we have to unplug from the location and shift you into the new location because the body naturally, you know how it's like you drive to a certain place, you go to that coffee shop, that bookstore, that eatery, it just gets used to it. So that's what you're also feeling. So right now, if you're okay, I'd like to actually unplug you from Washington, the busyness, the surroundings. You're ready for the more simplicity and the nature is waiting for you. You have good work to do there. So that's awesome. Hang on a second and we'll put you. Yeah, well, you can see because your intuition and actually the way you feel and the way you actually interact with people is a really big gift. And you must know that you're now ready to step into it on another level. And you and the nature, also, when you're in nature, you can probably feel this, you connect really well to the God consciousness. Do you know that, right? Yeah. So that's why you're being relocated. But you might be surprised that it's like we got to, what's the date you actually move? Yeah, but the actual Yeah. Awesome. So what's the date though that you want to be planted there? Do you have one that you want to be right there? Okay. Okay, so I'm actually going to we're going to remove the accumulation of the energy back and forth, back and forth. It's like a bridge. We'll stabilize you there and here, and we'll start to unhook you from Washington completely so you can be in the hotel. You can be in that space, and that energy in that place is going to really, you're going to turn it around in a whole different way. You might be a little bit over capacity, FYI, so that's okay. Hang on a second. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you do because it's almost that the also too, it's this new adventure. You can see the new doors opening for you. And the way you get more immersed, you're going to find there's a bigger flow. Make sure you also ask for that flow, that ease, that grace, that the way you want to see it come in. But hang on, I just got to make sure I unplug you. It's waiting to come up. There's an energy holding you back, and I want to pull it off. I'm going to gag. I apologize. Oh, sorry. Oh, good. Oh, oh, that was a big energy. Okay, that was not a nice one. When I gag like that, those goes to the roots of what's holding you back. So what I'm going to do is now just align you. You should feel a lot better when you're going there and you're into the smaller town. What you'll probably feel too is you're going to feel disengaged more and more and more from Washington and like less like you want to be there. And you're going to start to feel more called to be in the smaller town. It's really ripping off you. So please don't drive for a little bit. How does that feel? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So what this is eh, yes. So what this is doing is first we're cleaning out the first part to get you nice and clear. Then you're going to be clear on how you're going to be working around the property you bought, how you're contributing to that environment, your empathic gifts and how you communicate with people is going to get stronger, and we have to let this energy shift. So what I would recommend, let it sit for a minute there, because I see my producers goes like, we're at the end. So I want to let that shift, and then call in next week. Maybe let me know how you're feeling, and then we can go another level. Just sort of let that shift a little bit more, and then we'll see what comes up after your body settles out. Uh, so much love, so much love. I receive it all. Thank you, God. Have an incredible day. You know what? I am so happy. I love our callers. We do have a call in show next week. So make sure you join me here again at Transformation Talk Radio, same time. I'm here every week. So, like I said, sometimes we have a guest. Check us out at tracylclark.com if you want to work more with me, you know how. But like I said, Sunday services, the next one's March 8th, online, in person. However, we are creating a movement. There is no other place out there that's been creating a movement where we're moving energy as a community together and building these initiatives and these outreach funds around the world to help people in need, to help you grow and shift and change. The hand of God has something for you. You have the superpower. I want to hear about it. You will see the next show being uploaded shortly because I haven't got the message of what it is. But remember, we channel live every week. No scripts. It's all about you. I love you all. I'm so glad you tuned in. Let your friends know about us. We have a new show every week, 90 outlets, and keep spreading the word of love because it's in that time now that we all get to new levels and new layers. I love you all. We will see you next week. Have an incredible week, everybody.